Oh, wait. All right. We are live. Oh, my goodness. It's been a long day. Weather has been a little meh. So that's why I got to have an afternoon coffee. Whew, stuff is piping hot. Oh, my goodness. But TGIF to everyone. I don't know how long of a live stream we're going to be running this evening, but we got the snared life in the house. What's up, Reloading Quest? I wonder what's going on in the day of the snared life. Need some more content out of that channel. What's going on, Harvey? It's going pretty good, actually. I am sitting in my vehicle at the designated soccer tryout place for my daughter, but we had a lot of rain come through today, so no idea if they're actually going to go through with the tryouts or not. But these are turf fields, so I'm not exactly sure why they would cancel. It's not raining right now, but we'll see. So tryout's supposed to be at 5 o'clock. It's 4:33 now. Not a ton of vehicles in the parking lot, so we'll see. But how's Friday going for everyone else? Hopefully going good. Reloading Quest loading 8.6 and 300. Nice. Yeah, I didn't really do much. Well, actually, I didn't do anything reloading related today. No, nothing. Oh, me. Need to wake up. I did, let's see, I went to the range yesterday and I shot, oh, what's going on, 18 wheels? Hey, Jeff. Jeff is in the house as well. Not much rain here in Talladega. It rained probably until maybe around lunchtime, and then it rained a little bit on the way over here. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's perfectly fine now. Is that cup that small, or are you that big of an individual? See, that's why you got to have the snared life on your live stream. He's all over it. You're waiting on FedEx like it's a long lost loved one. I know. Yep. So I posted a short. Maybe you guys saw it, but so I was sitting there, maybe fixing me something to eat. I can't remember now, but the dog started going nuts. I turned around and looked. Well, the UPS truck was backing in the driveway. This was a couple days ago, and I was like, what? I was like, man, I didn't order anything that would be being delivered by UPS. I hadn't ordered anything in a minute, and I was like, well, maybe the wife ordered something, right? So they drop it off. I'll go out there, get the package, and it was those bullets from McGuire Ballistics. So I sent Sam a text, and he was like, hey, just ran a new lot of 308 stuff. Figured you might just want to do some testing for me. And I was like, oh, sweet. So that's where those bullets came from. But the cup is that small. It's only 10 ounces. Really nice, though. Ryan asked, is it worth reloading 7mm 08? Well, if you want to buy some factory ammunition, I think it's 3 boxes. I got 3 or 4 boxes of factory ammo I'll sell to you if you'd like. Because I don't have one, but I got 3 boxes of it. But yes, it is. Never sleep on 7mm 08. It is, yeah, that's one where, so I was looking at the Howa Superlight. I was looking at that today, and they offer that in 7mm 08. I think that would be a dynamite cartridge, and I think that would be an awesome package. I mean, that's something you could go elk hunting with, right? Excuse me, 7mm 08. I know Barnes, I think they make 139 grain LRX. I believe it's 139 grain LRX in the 7mm version. That would be elk medicine all day long. You were up till 2 playing with Gordon's reloading tool. Okay, yeah, I need to get that at some point, but you've got a break action 7mm that you use deer hunting. Oh, okay. Is it like a H&R handy rifle, single shot, I'm assuming? Or it could be like a Thompson Encore or something like that. It's not the size of the cup, it's the motion of the drinking that matters. Oh, it's a CVA. Oh, okay. Ooh, boy, that coffee is still piping hot. Yeah, 7mm 08, that's, you know, I think it's a great round. The problem that I didn't have a problem with the cartridge itself. I think that the rifle that I got chambered in that cartridge underperformed, right? So and I've got those videos up on the channel, but I just was never really thrilled with the performance level of the Bergara B14. It was the base model Bergara, but if you go and, you know, just like anything else, you go and watch all these reviews and you read all about the Bergara, and it's just like, oh man, doesn't matter which one you get, it's shooting 1/2-inch groups for everybody, everywhere, no matter the cartridge and all this. Well, so I pick up, because they were on sale at a local gun store, pick up the B14, and it was definitely a nice rifle. It did not perform at all. Did not perform. So that was disappointing. But it's a great cartridge. That 7mm diameter. All right, we got some more people rolling in here. I'm thinking they may be on for these tryouts, or at least I sure hope they are. Because we didn't drive over here for nothing. So let's see. Oh yeah, no, they are. There's the coach right there. Well, these gates over here are locked, so I might have to drive around. All right, everyone, stand by. You guys are gonna... I did get this little thing. This is a vent clip, but it's got a magnetic back to it. So you guys hang tight. Let me get y'all. Look at that. Now you guys can ride with us. That's the coach though. Hey, are y'all here for the tryouts? Okay, it looks like the coach pulled up over there. I don't think he can get in right here because the gates are locked. So I got to drive around. Yep. Oh. You know, just trying to be a helpful individual. We're on. We got the YouTube live running. So, daughter's over here taking a nap. Let's see here. How do we get to where we need to go? That is the question. Alrighty. We're just gonna drive around till we find it. And y'all are gonna join in the fun. This is an interesting parking lot, that's for sure. I was hoping they would still have it because I didn't know how they were going to communicate that it was canceled. Because I'm talking to the people on the live stream here. All right, how do we get to where they are? Right lane must turn right. No. Okay. let's see here. I don't know how to get to where we need to go. But I reckon we'll figure it out. Maybe this is it? Oh yeah, here it is. All right, found it. All is right with the world. Hey, you need to get up, get your cleats on. Oh, we gotta make sure we don't hit the guy running. The firefighter. All right, let me get over here and park.
Why is there only one person here?
There's not.
And who's here?
Let's see, what field? Oh, y'all are gonna be on field 15, so I'm gonna pull over here and park where I
The
can.
coach is here.
Yeah, the coach is here. Well, no, you got people right behind us pulling in. They were parked over there by us. All right, here we go. Okay, take off, big girl. You got this. Grab your water. What? Goodbye forever. Okay. Make sure you hustle. All right. Oh my goodness. And we're back. So, had to drive around to a different parking lot. You love your B14 HMR Wilderness and 6.5 Creed, thinking about getting the same thing in 300 PRC. Man, that is a beast of a round. Holy smokes. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, I would probably have better, I don't know, maybe it would have been a better experience if I would have went the route of like the BMR, you know, 14 HMR, or excuse me, the B14 HMR, or something like that. But just, I wanted to go in with the, you know, sort of the base model, test it out, and it did not perform well at all. So hello, Emmanuel. But yeah, so fun stuff. I posted the video of some more results shooting that, whatever, that Creedmoor combination Frankenstein gun. Posted a video earlier about that. Had a pretty good range day with it. Now, that was yesterday. I didn't do any shooting or anything today, so nothing reloading related was accomplished today, other than plugging in results on my spreadsheet. That was about it. And no, we're not talking vehicles. Oh my goodness. Might be a light crowd tonight. But yeah, hopefully everybody's having a good Friday, or depends on where you're at in the globe. It's already Saturday, so maybe your Saturday morning's going well. I know the Georgia Shooting Connection live stream is tonight at 7 Central, so y'all make sure you tune into that. 8 p.m. Eastern time. Y'all go check out that live stream. That's one I'm actually going to be joining the panel. I believe it's May 31st. Yeah, I think it's May 31st. I'll be supposed to be joining the panel for that live stream. So that should be fun. Looking forward to it. But yeah, back to the 7mm 08. That's one that I would go with in terms of bullet selection. Maybe look at, let's see, Barnes. I think they have some 120s even. That would be, I mean, that's kind of on the lighter side of things, but you know, you could go with the 120, pump up the velocity, 7mm, so you've got good in terms of bullet diameter and expansion. So should be pretty good stuff with that. You can go heavier, you know. Obviously, test until you find what shoots really well in your particular setup. I don't know if Ryan is still in here or not. Here, bring it here. Oh. H380, 139 grain SST. Oh, okay. Nice. I need the safety pins. Get them off here. Does this have to go on the front of your shirt or the back?
I want it on the back. Huh?
What?
I want it on the back.
Alright.
Don't poke me.
Okay, I'm not going to try to. What do I pin, the top and bottom?
The holes.
The holes? I can't pin the holes.
Put it in the holes.
Right? Oh, just at the top?
Yeah.
Alright, other safety pin.
Did you tell them how I made the volleyball team?
Oh. No. Did not. Alright. Take off. Make sure you hustle. Oh! Alright. Yeah, H380, that's a powder. I have a couple of pounds of it. I just haven't done much with it. I know it's like the default 22-250 powder. If you're loading that cartridge, that's exactly the name of it is the charge weight, right? It was like 38 grains of that powder I can't remember if it was a 50 grain bullet in 22-250. That was supposed to be a really good charge or something like that. Maybe. But yeah, I've tried that powder in, I cannot remember now. I know it was 22-250 I tried it in, but I didn't load much in that cartridge. But I do like the SST bullets. I am a fan of those. I've been checking out the Mason Leatherworks videos or whatever that guy is. He posts some really good videos on bullet testing in ballistics gel, which is really interesting. If you go and listen to one of the Hornady podcasts that they had done recently where they had Jaden Quinlan, I think he's like their top ballistician. They had him on, And he was talking about they don't use ballistics gel at Hornady for their testing. They use ordnance gel, which is vastly different than ballistics gel. What's going on, Shane? So I thought that was very interesting because the ordnance gel is actually made up of bits of, he was saying like bits of pig and all kind of stuff. You have a very limited amount of time to actually perform the testing, and he said that stuff gets pretty nasty pretty quick. So they apparently use ordnance gel when they do their testing, which is interesting. But to circle back to the Mason guy that's been doing some ballistics gel testing on YouTube, he's tested the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 30-06 factory ammunition with the ELDX bullets. It was in 30-06, it was the 178 grain ELDX, and then I think in the 6.5, I believe it was the 143 ELDX. And in his test, it's not looking good for that bullet. It's not looking good at all. So I sent those videos to my buddy who likes to shoot Hornady ELDX bullets, and it's just the performance in the gel. I know that's ballistics gel, but it's not that great. It is not that great. So I would encourage everyone to go check out those videos. Really good stuff. 18 wheels. Can we get a Let's Go Bruins? Harvey's back. You didn't miss anything, Harvey. I was parked on the wrong side of the fields here, so I actually had to take you guys along for a ride and get to the correct parking lot. Burn rate for H380 is close to accurate. Oh, okay, and lever. Oh, really? That's good to know. Accurate 27. I did a little bit of testing with that powder in 6.5 Creedmoor, but there wasn't anything about it that just kind of, jumped out at me and was like, oh man, this is definitely a powder I need to continue to explore with. I didn't have any of those types of results. So I've shot a little bit of that powder, but I just kind of gave up on it because it didn't blow my hair back right off the bat. Let's go Rangers. Are we talking about Texas Rangers? Walker, Texas Ranger. Let's go Chuck Norris. Okay, a lot more folks starting to roll in now. Oh, wait. Yeah, this overcast weather we've had today, rainy, overcast weather, it's hey, how you doing? Good. It's been a struggle all day. Oh, me. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing some more in-depth testing with Stayball 6.5. That's going to be a powder that's going to be high on my list of things to test in this new Christensen Arms barrel. So definitely want to give that a try. Now I got really good velocity results with those 129 grain interlock bullets that I tried. And that was, like I was saying in the video that I posted earlier, that was basically a leftover load that I had tested in my Kimber, and it shot okay. It was never, really an amazingly accurate or precise load that I had tested. So, but it was the best out of that particular batch. So I went back, loaded that stuff up again to give it a try. And I mean, you guys saw, if you saw the video, then you saw the results. Six shot group, but it measured like 2 inches. But the velocity was really good. It was like 28.58. So, you know, really good velocity, basically right in line with what Hornady was saying in their load manual. So I was very pleased, um, very pleased with that performance. That shot well. I've got some 135 burgers already loaded up from a previous test. Oh, he's talking 18 wheels. He's talking about the team that will lose to the Bruins in hockey. I got you. So you guys are big field hockey fans. No, I'm kidding. NHL. I at least know that much. I at least know that much. Oh man. But yeah, I need to get those burgers shot. So my plan is to go and pick up a factory box of solid copper, whatever I can find on the shelf that has a solid copper bullet loaded in it. I want to buy that box because my plan is to finish shooting the 160 interlocks, switch over, shoot those burger 135s, and then once I'm done with that, because those are already loaded up, once I'm done with those, then I will clean the barrel right back down to bare metal, get that all stripped back down, and from there I'll switch over to shooting the solid copper stuff. And I want to start with factory ammo as a baseline because I've already got some hand loads, you know, worked up that are solid copper, and I don't want to waste those fouling the barrel. So that'll be the plan for the factory ammo. But we'll see how it goes. It definitely likes the 147 grain ELD match. If you can find, I've got 2 pounds of that, Jeff. Just picked it up not long ago. I think you had recommended that powder before, and so it was sitting on the shelf. One of the last times I made a stop at. I know, right? Stop yawning. That stuff's contagious. It was sitting on the shelf. I can't remember where I got it now, but they had a couple of pounds and it was priced pretty good. I mean, I think it was 37 bucks, 37 bucks a pound, something like that. So I went ahead and picked up 2. So I've got a couple of pounds of it. I do need to try. That's a powder I've never tried in 6.5 Creedmoor. Um, it does well for you in 243 Win to 338 6, depending on bullet weight, best performing powder. Oh, okay. That's good to know. I wonder if Reloading Quest has tried that powder. I know he's a big 338 6 fan too. So I wonder if he's tried that in his. Jesus, he loves you too. He most definitely loves me, and he most definitely loves you. It's like my 3rd or 4th cup of coffee of the day. But yeah, that's I got to figure out something on that 7mm as well. On that 7mm project, because I've got the barrel, right? Next step will be figuring out exactly, you know, what action do I want that thing to get placed on, right? And talking with Derek whenever I bought the barrel from him, yeah, you heard 3. I knew that. I thought that might, you know, catch your attention, Reloading Quest. If I said it out loud, I thought you might hear that and jump in. But yeah, Jeff was talking about hybrid 100V has been the best performing powder for him in 338 6, and so I was just saying I didn't know if you'd tried that powder in yours before. So Harvey picked up some trail balls. Took some talking to find. I bet it did. Yeah, trail balls. That's one of those where, and I've seen people post pictures of like powder inventory on shelves, and I've seen some Trail Boss from people that have posted. So I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe they're getting a shipment in and getting the stuff out in the distribution channels. But keep your eyes out for that. And if you see some, well, that's just like the other day. I was in Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville, and he had 2 containers of that Blackhorn 209 powder for muzzle loaders. He had 2 containers of it on the shelf, so I just bought both. Reloading Quest, yeah, I've used it in 338-06, but does not do well in cold weather for you. Oh, okay, got you. Let's see. Jeff's had good luck with it in 260 rim as well. 140 grain, 260 rim hybrid. Okay. Yeah, I'll add that to the list. And that's the thing, by the time, so I was working, or I was basically kind of going through all of the rounds for my Creedmoor, all of the rounds that I already have loaded up that I just want to go ahead and shoot before I even begin load development. And I'm going to have like 100 rounds on the barrel before I even start load development. So that'll be interesting. But I got a bunch of stuff already loaded up, a bunch of stuff I want to try out. We'll see how it goes. I'm really hoping the had a $20 sticker. Oh, it was new old stock. Okay. Yeah, that's you ain't gonna find it for $20 when the new stock comes out. That's for sure. That stuff, I've got 1 container of it, of Trail Boss, sitting in my powder supply right now that I don't plan on ever getting rid of. I need to find something to shoot it in. I've never even opened the container. It's traveled with me each time I've moved, and it's just hung out in my powder inventory. I bought it a handful of years ago. Uh-oh. Talking hockey again. That's one thing. We've got the Huntsville Havoc down here, but they're kind of, what is that? Southern Professional Hockey League, I believe. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Which, those games are awesome to go to, by the way. Really enjoy going to those games. They're a lot of fun. Have you tested the barrel cleaning theory? So so 18 wheels, I tried it in, so I guess let me explain how I did it, right? Because if you go and watch Backfire and Jim's video on this, and you listen to what Ron Spomer has to say about it as well, like Jim started with a known good load, right? Like he was shooting factory ammunition, and it was like 1/2-inch groups all day long. Well, from there, he went and tested like some match ammunition, and it didn't shoot super great. So he was like, I'll go back and try the copper stuff. Well, when he did, that's when the groups for the copper stuff were really terrible. So that was when he had heard Ron Spomer mention it, and he tested it out, and everything shrank right back up, and he was back to like 1/2-inch groups. Well, I tested it out in, it's a project that I'm still working on, and I cannot wait to get done with it. It's a 25-06, and I was focusing on shooting a GMX or a Barnes bullet because it's strictly for hunting, and I like those bullets. You know, those are one of my favorite in terms of a bullet brand for hunting is solid copper. So that was my plan, was to focus on that bullet style. Well, so I started off doing that. What the guy that I got the gun from, what they had always been shooting were SSTs, so jacketed bullets. And so I start off, I shoot some of those, the factory ammo that he gave me, and it was not great at all. So then I started loading up some solid copper stuff, and I'm shooting that, and it's not really performing that well either. Well, then I hear about the clean your barrel thing. So I heard about that, and I was like, well, I'll try that and see if these groups get any better with the solid copper. So I did. I stripped the barrel down and loaded up the same loads that didn't shoot that well for the solid copper, went out, shot them. They still didn't shoot that great. So it's one of those where it's like, you know, yeah, starting with a known good load would have been better, I believe. But for me, I didn't see any performance improvement, I guess, is one way to look at it as well. I didn't see any gain or any benefit to this particular 25-06 project. Not saying that I won't see benefit elsewhere, and I think it is a good practice. So like moving forward, I'm probably going to implement that. Not when I swap, like going from a Burger, classic hunter to a Sierra Game King, right? I'm not going to strip the barrel down. Both jacketed bullets, I don't care. But I am going to do that when I go from a jacketed over to a solid copper. I will do that from now on. I will make sure I clean the barrel, strip it back down, and then start over, with some baseline of, hey, now I don't have to worry about it, right? It's one variable we don't have to discuss or basically try to blame if things don't go the way I think they should. So I tried it, but again, I wasn't starting with a known good load. Maybe if I find a really, really good shooting load that's repeatable in one of my guns, then I can do that, and I can actually test it and try it out and see if I see any difference. But Harvey, $40 equals 2 dozen eggs, 100 pieces once fired, 187mm 08 brass, and 9 ounces of trail balls. Nice. Yeah, they come in 9-ounce containers, which is interesting. Chris, what's going on, Chris? Ramesa for the win. Yeah. Are you the one that came up with that name? Because I couldn't remember who offered up that name. But the more times I use Ramesa, I'm pretty sure that's just going to be the name of the gun. Is the Ramesa. So if that was you, I appreciate the name, because that's what I keep calling it. Jeff said light bullets in 338-06 200 grain SSTs. You like reloader 15, getting 2840 feet per second, 24-inch barrel. Could go faster, but it's almost a varmint bullet. Okay. Harvey, is the 338-06 like the little brother to the 35 Whalen? I have no idea. That's out of my wheelhouse right there. You can leave that up to Jeff Wilson and Reloading Quest actually wrote an article about it. I believe it was in, I can't remember if it was Handloader. It was you. Okay. Well, kudos to you, Chris, because that's the name that I think I'm just going to stick with. So, yep. The good old Ramesa. Oh, AR. What's going on, AR? Good to see you. Glad you could join us for a little bit this evening. Yeah, we're just all hanging out. But yeah, I don't know, Harvey. That's something Jeff and Reloading Quest could probably answer on that. The only 338 I've ever owned was the Lapua Mag, and shot that for a little while and just ended up getting rid of it. Really fun cartridge to load for. If you plan on shooting a long ways, that was kind of my problem. I didn't really, at the time, I didn't have anywhere that I could shoot beyond, like 400 yards was the max, and that was at a buddy's house, and so it kind of had to be, we kind of had to work out the timing when I could actually go out there and do that. So it was just one of those things where I couldn't shoot it at long distances like I like I feel like that cartridge should be used for, right? Like you should be stretching the legs on that thing. I just didn't have the capability or the range to be able to do that, so I ended up getting rid of it. But really awesome cartridge to load for. Oh, one thing I do want to ask y'all, get y'all's opinion on, is the PRC line of cartridges from Hornady. So I was watching Reloading Weatherby, and that's a great channel to watch, by the way. I like his stuff, and he was talking about he was talking. I think he was giving his thoughts on what the next PRC cartridge could be, right? Because if you take a step back, like look at where we're at right now in terms of the shooting industry, ammunition, new cartridges coming out. You know, at some point, like where do we go from here? You know what I'm saying? Because it just doesn't really seem like there's anything that's like really new. A lot of what's coming out, or a lot of it just seems like improved versions of things that we already have, or things that already exist, or something along those lines. And he was talking about, he could see like a 338 PRC or like a 25 PRC. I think that's what he was saying. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear what y'all think on that. I was I was listening to it, and it is interesting. I mean, now are you just gonna is that kind of the path that we're going down, where we're not really going to come up with anything new per se? We're going to neck up and down some of these newer cartridges that have come on the market, and that's going to be the new thing, right? I don't know, but I mean, it's definitely interesting, because you got to think, like, what are the guys at Hornady working on now, right? What are the guys at Sierra working on now? What are the guys at Spear, Nosler? You know, uh, those guys that are making the bullets. Like, what are they coming up with next? And then, you know, Federal, Hornady, a lot of those other guys that are making the factory ammunition. Just, you know, where do you go from here? Be interesting to see. Yes and no, both came from the 30. Okay, Jeff said yes and no, both came from the 30-06 loaded for the 35 Whelen 2. Both are thumpers. I bet they are. Chris Bomer did a video about what could be new, and 25 cal was ripe for the picking. Well, it seems like there's been a rebirth, if you will, on the quarter bore stuff. Like you've got 25 Creedmoor, and it seems like, you because I think what really is sort of pushing the 25s is now you've got people that are coming out with bullets, those high BC, long for caliber, real sleek ogive, like meant to really fly long range. Because before, you didn't really have that in the 25s. That was a pretty limited bullet choice in the 25s. But now you're kind of seeing that more and more. Uh, Folks actually making, offering up bullets in that 25 cal range. So it's going to start driving people to make, start chambering for 25s, or coming up with something new. So yeah, seems like it seems like 25 PRC would probably be a really good one. I mean, but you've got 25 Creedmoor, right? I mean, you've already got that. I think it might not be Sammy, but I know there's people out there shooting it. So reloading quest. It's better than the 35 Whelen when it comes to performance. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was in hand loader. Got you. Okay, yeah. You did it on the Ackley. That's right. Okay. I'm remembering now. So reloading quest. He wrote an article. It was the 338-06 Ackley improved. Um, but yes, according to him, it is better than 35 Whelen on performance. And his article is in Hand Loader magazine. Jeff's wondering, have you loaded the 230 grain ELDX in the 338-06? Because he has. Do you guys like the ELDX bullet? I don't know. I tend to steer people away from that bullet. If we're just having a conversation about it, like a guy I work with, that was a bullet he first got into reloading, and that was the one he wanted to focus on for his 6.5 Creedmoor. And I see several videos. Of course, you see a lot of videos of people having success with it, but then you see videos of guys that, even just in ballistics jail, like I was talking about earlier, it's not great performance from that bullet. And so it seems hit or miss. It seems inconsistent, I'll say. I don't know if that's been y'all's experience. I haven't killed anything with ELDX. I'm trying to think just to make sure I'm not lying to you. No, I have not killed anything with ELDX bullets. So I'm wondering if y'all have. PRC line to me delivers similar ballistics to belted. I probably can't argue that. I would imagine it does. Well, and that's the thing too. It depends on what you're trying to do, but like that 7 PRC. I mean, if you really wanted just one cartridge to hunt with for the rest of your life, and you're hunting big game, I mean, down to white-tailed deer, whatever. I mean, and you want to go kill coyotes, you could load it light and go do that if you wanted to. But yeah, that 7 PRC. That's a really, really good option as kind of like a do-all cartridge if you just wanted to go buy one. Now, that's the thing. Does any of us actually just want to go buy one? No. So, but yeah, the PRC line's it's pretty nice. Did you get your annealing situation figured out? Negative. I haven't even thought about it. I haven't even thought about annealing. I need to go by Lowe's and get a propane torch. That's what I need. That's what I need. But no, I have not. Well, that's the other thing, because what I want to do also, I've got those 10 pieces of Starline brass that I've converted to 30 TC. And so my plan is to load up. I'll probably load maybe something like 43 grains of Shooter's World match rifle powder. Excuse me. And just probably go with the Sierra 165 grain Game King. Load 10 of those. Go and shoot them. I don't care about performance of the group, actually, to be honest with you. But go and just repeat that process over and over again until I have a brass failure, and see what that looks like. You stopped buying ELDX because your groupings weren't that great. Oh, okay. So I was talking to some guys who compete, and they actually stopped shooting A-tips because the performance wasn't that great. Lot to lot, the performance that they were seeing just wasn't what they needed it to be, right? To be competitive and to win. So I think they switched to Burger, I believe. Okay, so Reloading Quest, he has tried it. I'm assuming it's the 230 ELDX. I'm thinking that's what he's answering. He's tried it. It's accurate, but I only shoot it for paper. Oh, okay. You like it on coyotes? Well, and so I'm assuming you're talking ELDX bullets. But yeah, something like that. If you want to go shoot coyotes, sure. But I don't know. Like that, it's packaged and sold and branded and marketed as kind of like an ultimate big game, or an ultimate, I guess we'll call it big game, medium to big game bullet, right? Depending on the cartridge you're shooting. But I mean, they did a whole podcast talking about how, it was developed and designed around being able to expand at lower velocities, so that way you extend the effective range and all this stuff. But then you go and there's videos of people where there's just complete bullet failure. It's right, exactly. That's not what it's advertised for. Exactly. That's kind of, I think the frustrating part, which I will say, you know, not in Hornady's defense at all, but that is the part that's frustrating, right? It's marketed and geared towards, hey, if you're going to go on the hunt of a lifetime, you want to go hunt an elk, right? You drew an elk tag. This is the stuff, no matter the shot distance, this is the stuff that's going to deliver the goods. Seems like it's not the case. But of course, I could say the same thing for the Spear Grand Slam bullet. Now, the one that failed, those bullets, even the packaging, you go and look at the packaging, Spear hasn't used that packaging style in I don't know how many years. So those bullets have a decent amount of age to them, right? That I loaded up in the 270 and shot. So there was a complete jacket and core separation, which I did talk to a Spear technician, and that should not have happened at all. So that was a bullet failure, and I did upload that video and showed it and talked through it and all that fun stuff. Some people were like, well, it still killed the deer, so it wasn't a failure. Yeah, it killed the deer, but the bullet didn't perform the way it was designed and intended to perform, which means it's a failure, right? Still got a dead deer. That's great. But Jeff said, paper is all I've used the 230 ELDX. What velocity did you get? So, Zach, that's another question to you. SST is a similar marketing ploy. Yeah, I've killed one deer with the SST. It was the 129 grain out of a 6.5 Creedmoor. That load was going, or that, yeah, I think that was somewhere around like 2,700 feet per second. So it wasn't fast at all. The doe, the shot was maybe, I think it was just under 100 yards, and she was hard quartering away from me. And I mean, the bullet, it buried up into the chest cavity, like it just buried into her chest. I mean, she dropped. I mean, she didn't take another step. It was a perfect shot. It destroyed the heart, and it just kind of buried up in her chest cavity right below her neck. And so that was great. You know, it didn't exit or anything, which was fine. It's not necessarily meant to be a super high weight retention bullet, right? That's going to ensure a complete pass through. So, but yeah, I mean, it's only one data point, right? It's just one experience that I had with that bullet. But I mean, it did really well. So, but yeah, you do have to kind of take a step back, like Chris is saying, you know, the marketing ploy. You have to take a step back and just go, okay, who's selling this? What are they trying to sell? What are they trying to accomplish by selling it, right? Are they selling me a solution to a problem that I don't even have? Yeah, that's probably the big thing, right? That I try to identify right off the bat is like, is it really something that's solving a problem that I have? Or, you know, is it just, you don't want to say gimmick. I don't necessarily want to say that, but a lot of the stuff that's out nowadays, it's just maybe a slightly improved version of something that already exists, right? Or something that's going to get the job done, or they're selling you something that you don't even need, right? Realistically, and they're charging you more for it. Like that precision hunter ammo, factory stuff, that's some of the most expensive factory ammunition that you can buy, right? And it comes loaded with a meh kind of bullet, right? What's up, Hudge? You load the ELDX in a few different cartridges. I do know people that have killed brown bear with it. Yeah, exactly. See, that's the thing. Because you're going to see both ends of the spectrum. You're going to go like that. I cannot think of the guy's channel name now, but he's on YouTube. It's like Mason. He does leather work. It's like Mason Leather Works or something like that. He almost only does ballistic gel tests. Like he goes and gets factory ammunition and he shoots ballistic he does ballistic gel tests in a wide range of cartridges. His videos are pretty cool. He does 3 shots into the ballistics gel, and then he checks for, he measures expansion, he measures velocity, he measures weight retention and penetration into the gel. Now, I know that ballistics gel is not necessarily the best medium to gauge a bullet's performance on an actual game animal. I know I know they use ordnance gel. I know that's better than ballistics gel, but it still at least gives you some level of understanding of what that bullet performs like in that particular situation, right? In that particular testing medium. So still worth checking out. What's up, 67 Rebel? So yeah, you're going to see folks, I think, on both ends of the spectrum with the ELDX. If people ask me, hey, what bullet should I go with? I typically tell them get either a bonded bullet or solid copper, right? And I can tell you that the Spear Gold Dot has worked extremely well for me in the 6.5, the 140 grain version has worked well for me. That's a good bullet, good performer on. I've killed deer with it, so haven't killed anything bigger than that, whitetail deer. And then something like the Spear Impact, which I believe is also a bonded bullet. So that's a good one. Solid copper, obviously Barnes, McGuire Ballistics. They're one of my favorites right now that I'm really high on. Just due to the design and how it performed, right? Killed the biggest buck I've ever killed with a McGuire Ballistics bullet, and it performed as advertised. So I've got to get some more game on the ground with some of these bullet types to really just say, hey, yes, this is what I would use every time I step into the woods. But I don't think you can go wrong with solid copper. That's typically what I try to load, like for friends and family, guys at church. That's typically what I recommend when they're like, hey, what bullet should I go with? I normally shoot factory ammo. It's got this bullet in it. Okay, well, that's great, but in my opinion, you want something that can give you the highest probability of punching 2 holes through that animal, right? That's the way I look at it. You have a higher probability of recovering that animal if you punch 2 holes through it. And solid copper bullets or bonded bullets give you a higher probability of achieving that. Reloading Quest, I got 2796 average with the LDX on the 338 Alt-6 Ackley improved. Hudge, Alaskan Ballistics does a lot of testing as well. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, I watched some of his stuff too. I like Alaskan Ballistics. I like Hopeful. I think it's Hopeful Ballistics is another good one. It's another good channel to watch. And he hates the LDX bullets. See, that's what I'm saying. You generally, when it comes to that particular line of bullets, you're either going to find people that swear by them and won't shoot anything else, right? Because not only in their experience does it perform well on game, but then they can take it to the range and punch paper and shoot really small groups on paper, right? And so a lot of people really, really like that about the LDX because it's essentially a match bullet that was, I guess, designed in such a way that you can hunt with it as well. So he's a big Barnes fan, and I load them in all my guns I bear hunt with. Well, and so I'm a big fan of like Barnes hammer bullets. I've shot hammer bullets. I've tested them just for accuracy standpoint. I've never been able to actually shoot any game animals with them, but there's plenty of videos out there of people killing stuff with hammer bullets. So those would probably be a good solid copper option. McGuire Ballistics, again, like I said, they're kind of at the top of my list right now. They're at the top of my list of ones that I want to test and and test and shoot. So, and hopefully, fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. Hopefully, I'll be heading to Texas in today's the 17th of May. Hopefully, I'll be heading to Texas June 6th. Wait, yeah, June 6th. I am hoping to get out there for a hog hunt. A guy I work with, he has a ranch out in Texas, and he made the mistake of extending an invitation to me. So I'm the type of guy that actually takes you up on invites. So if you're the guy where you're like, hey man, I've got a 500-acre ranch, you should come out and kill a deer. I'll be the guy that says, okay, I'll be there next week. so I'm really hoping to test out some of those McGuire ballistic bullets on some hogs in Texas. That's gonna be my plan. I don't necessarily know the whole like schedule of events and how we're gonna try to do everything, because I know they hunt hogs at night out there on his ranch. Especially they hunt them at night with some thermals. They've got some setups where they hunt them at night. So I would like to go do that. Of course, I don't have anything that's capable of, you know. I mean, I guess we could put the thermal on my setup and go. I guess we could do that, but I don't really want to get into all that. I'd rather just grab whatever they already have, kill some at night. But then I also want to set up during the day and see if I can kill one during the day with some of those McGuire ballistics just to test them. I used to work with a guy that got a bear and moose almost every year. All he ever used was Remington Core-Lock factory ammo. So I am not a fan of the Remington Core-Lock factory ammunition in terms of the delivery system of a really, 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 really good bullet. Like the Remington Core-Lock is a really good bullet, standalone bullet. If you can go and buy the just the standalone bullet, which I have for 30 cal. I've got I think I've got 1 or 2 bags of the 165 grain Core-Lock. If you can just buy the standalone bullet and then work up a load with it, good to go. That's a really good option to use. Really good bullet to use. The problem I have is just the delivery system itself with that particular line of ammunition. I have never had good luck with Remington Core-Lock ammunition, right? The normal green and yellow box, the cheapest stuff you can go buy at Walmart, right? Like I have never had, and I'm dead serious, never, out of all the factory ammunition I've shot using that stuff, have not had any good luck with it yet. And not just in terms of on game. I haven't shot any game with it, but I always get split necks, split cases. It's just something is just off in that delivery system itself. I don't know if it's just the brass or whatever it is, but I haven't had good luck shooting that stuff. Now I did try the new Remington tipped Core-Lock in 243 Winchester before I took the barrel off. When I first got that CDL, that Rim Arm 700 CDL in 243, I shot that tipped Core-Lock stuff, and it shot really, really well. So yeah, it's a good bullet. Just the delivery system and the factory stuff I'm not a fan of. You're probably going to try Gordon's reloading tool for the ELDX. Maybe you weren't doing something right on paper. I have not tried Gordon's reloading tool. I got to get a computer so I can actually download that. Jeff, so Zach, a reloading quest, he's getting 2740 with the 230 grain. Okay, ELDX. It's just the standard 338-06, not the Ackley version. 18 wheels. For what it's worth, AGM makes thermal scopes now that are plenty fine, 100 and 150 yards, pretty cheap. Okay. The Broke Hobby Smith. What's going on? stumbled on your video here, was just looking up dies for reloading 308. This seems like a great place to get some info. Yo, well, probably won't get a lot of great information from me, but pay attention to the the chat portion, because there's some really smart guys in here that have been reloading probably a lot longer than I have. But if you want to reload 308, you really just can't go wrong with like a basic Hornady custom grade die set. The ATN. Okay. Yeah, you can't go wrong with like a Hornady custom grade die set, just the standard full length sizing die and the bullet seating die, right? That just a standard. If that's well, now I will caveat that with saying if you're loading for a gas gun like an AR-10 in 308 or like a Browning BAR, something along those lines. If you're loading for a semi-auto in 308, you're gonna want to have, or you're gonna want to get some type of crimp die, like a Lee factory crimp die. That way, you don't have to worry about bullet setback and the bullet shifting in the case as it's as they're hanging out like the magazine, and it's running through that action when you go to chamber around. Like an AR action, it's pretty aggressive, on the case itself, and so you can have some bullet setback. That bullet can shift if you don't have, tight enough neck tension on the bullet. So you just want to be aware of that. And then also, if you're loading for like an AR-10, you may want to look at maybe a small base sizing die. RCBS would be a good option. Maybe get a 308 small base sizing die. But yeah, that's 308. That's one of those cartridges. I mean, it's. I don't think you'd find a bad die set, to be honest with you. You go get a Lee. You can go get a Lee pace setter die set for relatively cheap, and I think you'll have good performance out of that. Oh, one thing I do want to touch on, since we were talking about thermals or whatever along those lines, that I did get to see the new Arkin. Is it called what's it called? Zulu or whatever the Arkin optics. They just released not too long ago. They released their kind of, I don't want to call it a thermal because I don't believe it is, but they're kind of getting into that game or whatever, right? Kind of like an ATN, you know what I'm saying? And I actually saw that when I was at the range yesterday. Shout out to Tyler. He seems like a pretty good dude. I've run into him a few times now at the range, and he had just got one in and had it on his Mossberg. I think it was a Mossberg MVP. Yeah, in 300 blackout. And he let me look through it. So it's just like a digital scope, right? But it's also got the laser range finding capability built into it as well. That was really slick. That was a pretty nice setup. And he said that he could make out a coyote with it all the way out to like 350 yards. He said it wasn't complete nighttime. It was getting dark, but he was able to make out, that it was a coyote at like 300, 350 yards. He said realistically he would only shoot, much closer than that. But probably with like an IR light or something, you'd probably be able to extend the range on that thing. So it was pretty sweet little package too. It didn't take up, it wasn't a big footprint. It didn't take up a lot of real estate. Jeff, have you used Lee dies and get a crimp die, even for other brands of dies? Yeah, that's the thing. Like for me, I use a lot of Lee dies. I use a lot of Hornady dies. I've got some Redding dies I use as well. I've got some CH tool and die sets. But in terms of a crimp die, you're probably going to hear a lot of people recommend just get a Lee factory crimp die. If they offer it in your cartridge that you're trying to reload for, and you want to apply a crimp, get a Lee factory crimp die. It's one of the better crimping setups out there. So let's see, Reloading quest. Yeah, Jeff, I've noticed I get 50 to 75 feet per second more than a normal 338-06. 18 wheels. The Arkin is night vision. Oh, okay, night vision. Yeah, I knew it was something. It's a digital optic, and so yeah, night vision, kind of that same vein. Is all about how good of an IR light you run. Yep, that's what he was saying. So he was testing it out without the IR illumination and just trying to see what I guess what his abilities would be, right? Without that. And he was extremely impressed. So he was raving about it. I think he said his only complaint, I think it's like a 5 to 20 maybe on the magnification. 5 to 20, I believe, or 5 to 25, something like that. So he wasn't super thrilled with the. He would have preferred maybe to drop a little bit on the top end to bring it down, maybe like a 3, right? You know, something on the lower end, more usable on the lower end. He would have been happier with that, I believe. J Solo, what's the total expense to reload? That just depends on what you're reloading and what you're trying to accomplish. Because it's just like any other hobby, you can spend as much money as you want to. You can go buy the best of everything, spend thousands of dollars just on the equipment. 18 wheels. Hogs will spook sometimes when the IR shines in their eyes. Thermal don't put out any light at all. It detects heat. Yeah, I've hunted hogs one time with a thermal setup. Hunted them at night. Me and my brother and my dad. We were lucky enough to be able to go do that. And it's incredible hunting hogs at night with thermals. I mean, it's pitch black, can't see anything, and you're scanning, and all of a sudden the field lights up, right, bright white. You got hogs everywhere, and it's just, and then you take your head off the scope, off the thermal, you're looking around, you literally just can't see anything. It's just pitch black. It's a different experience, to say the least. Yeah, Chris pointed out Ultimate Reloader just did a great video on reloading costs. So for any of you that are interested in reloading or looking at getting into it, thinking about it, maybe you stumbled upon this live stream and you're like, oh, I'm thinking about doing it. He just Ultimate Reloader just posted a video very recently, probably within the past month, of kind of doing an updated version of a video that he had released some years ago about just that. Like, what does it take to get into reloading, kind of breaking down the different types of people who might want to get into reloading and, set up cost and that type of stuff. So he breaks it down really, really good in that video. You can go check it out. Broke Hobby Smith. Reloading gets expensive with just the cost of powder now. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Which is why you guys got to head over to AmericanReloading.com and buy some of the Midwest powders. Excuse me. So I am testing. I'm testing Midwest powders. MP620. It's very close to Reloader 19, probably practically a clone of Reloader 19. Right now I'm testing it in 270 Winchester with the 128 grain McGuire ballistic copper rose hollow point bullet, and y'all stay tuned for those videos. I'm getting pretty amped up about that powder in 270 Winchester. It's right now it is really doing well. So reloading quest, you like redding dies? Yeah, I like redding dies as well. I've got a handful of them. I do tend to stick more cases, or at least I have in the past. I've stuck more cases in redding dies if I don't use redding Imperial sizing die wax. That's the sizing, I guess the sizing wax or lube that I use now for everything. I only use Imperial. I have used a little bit of the CH tool and die. I've used a little bit of their stuff as well. But I almost just exclusively use Imperial sizing die wax now, because anytime I tried to use Hornady one shot, I used to be more of a fan of that, but anytime I use that in a retting die, it's a stuck case, almost guaranteed, for me at least. So, so I just use Imperial and it works really well. Speaking of Remington Hudge, what are you saying? My uncle worked there when I was in college. He could buy any ammo but the premium for $1 a box. Premium was $5 a box. I had a nice supply of ammo. Jeez, yeah, I bet. Chris, what got me going was options of bullets. 18 wheels. There he goes. Yeah, giving out the secrets, man. You know, gotta give out the secrets. Yep. That's one of those places, man. That's just a good place to go hang out and spend some money. Duck Creek Sporting Goods, obviously. That's another good one. If you're local, you know, to North Alabama, Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville, that's always my #1 recommendation. But there's some really good places online you can find stuff. You just got to be on the lookout. Does the Midwest Powder offer anything for... Oh, they do. Yeah. So go... I don't exactly know where else you can find the stuff. Midwest Powders. I don't know if you can just go buy it directly from them, but I do know that. So the Broke Hobbysmith. If you go to AmericanReloading.com, you gotta be pretty quick. They sell out of stuff real fast because they offer stuff at really good prices, like really good prices. The price that you see on their website, I believe that includes shipping, hazmat, that includes everything. Like that's what I like about them. Like on their powders, it's just, you know, hey, here's how much it is. You know, we don't tack on additional stuff. They bake it into the price already, which is nice because they offer stuff really cheap compared to what you can find other stuff, more name brand powders for, right? And they list exactly what that powder is equivalent to. They go ahead and list that out in the description, right? And it says it right on the jug. I've got an 8-pound jug of MP 620, and it says right on the jug, you know, use Reloader 19 data, start like 10% below minimum, work your way up, whatever, just normal standard disclaimer. And they'll have some baseline load data on, I believe, in the description on their website. Kind of, hey, here's the load data that's available, but it's really, you're taking it and you got to work with it and figure out what works for you, because I don't think there's no manual, right? There's not a lot of load data for it. So but yeah, so Broke Hobbysmith, just keep checking their website. Definitely go sign up for their emails. That's what I do. They add stuff constantly. Just about every day, every other day, seems like they're adding, you know, bullets for sale, maybe some ammunition, whatever, some loaded ammo, some primer, some powder, brass, that type of stuff. So Jeff, I think the 338 Alt-6 Ackley and the 280 Ackley are about all you need, but what fun would that be? Yeah, exactly. EA, what's the best flashlight for Glock? Ugh, I don't know. I'm not a big handgun guy. Reloading Quest. Yeah, agree, Jeff. Great rounds. Chris said, I have a 708 and it really shines when you can reload. Not a lot of factory options. Yeah, that's the benefit of reloading. That's what I was talking about, I think, on the last live stream. You know, it's just, it gives you so much more flexibility, right? Being able to fine tune and tailor a load to your particular rifle, it makes all the difference. It really does. You can go, and factory ammunition's getting really good nowadays. So if you don't want to reload, you just want to go sink a bunch of money into factory ammo, obviously go try a few different kinds to see what your gun likes. But once you find something it likes, go buy a lot of it. Then you ain't got to worry about it. But just having that ability to load your own is really nice. 18 wheels. They have BLC 2 equivalent on there now. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, never. I haven't tested a whole lot with BLC 2, so that was not one that was. That was not one that was high on my list. Loading Quest build a 6mm UM. I can't afford to. Oh yeah, yeah, no kidding. For a handgun, so this is directed toward LA. This is directed toward your question, or an answer for your question. For a handgun flashlight, the Holosun is pretty nice. Holosun, is that PID? It's pretty nice for the price, like $100-ish. Yeah, but what's the fun of factory when you're a tinkerer? I know, exactly. That's me. Like, that is one thing. Yeah, I enjoy so much the process of testing different bullet and powder combinations just to see, you know, just to see what it does, see how it performs in the gun that I have. So that's one of the big things I enjoy doing. Yeah, that's so. I think I partially to blame. I think JRB is partially to blame for my lack of testing BLC2. I've got a pound of it, and it's not a full pound now. I've used it a little bit here and there, trying some different stuff, but I think he's planted that seed in my mind of, you know, now subconsciously when I think BLC2, I immediately think of JRB saying that it's a crap powder, and he's never had any luck with it, no matter what he's loaded for it or loaded it with. He's never had any luck with it, blah 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 blah, you know, so on and so forth. And so now I'm like, oh well, I don't even want to try that powder. JRB didn't have any luck with it. Why do I want to try it? You know. But yeah, that's why we do it. You know, mess around, see what shoots well, see what doesn't. That's also useful information. Hey, this combination didn't work at all. So then you just avoid that like the plague. And it's good to get on, you know, different live streams like this and, you know, kind of share, or forums, or however you want to share that information. But that is good to be able to kind of leverage the collective experience, right, of everyone in the group. Just like, hey, I've had really good luck with hybrid, you know, 100V in this cartridge. You ought to give it a try. Here's the charges that have worked well for me, blah, 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 you know, all that type of stuff. Really good information. Christopher Vortex said that on a podcast as well. Oh, okay. Hudge never had any luck with BLC2 or TAC, but plenty of people swear by them. I know a lot of people that swear by TAC. My brother actually is a really big Ramshot TAC guy. I've had good luck with it too. It's never been one that I've just tested a lot of, but I've had decent results with it. It's not a powder that's super high on my list of, you know, when I see it, I'll go out of my way to get some, right? It's not like that, but yeah, my brother, he uses it. I think he likes it quite a bit. But yeah, I've tried BLC2 a couple of different times. It's just same thing as like Accurate 2700. It's never really just blown my hair back, right? So it's not one that I add to my standard rotation. Top 3 powders, what are you buying? Ooh, well, that's a tough one. Now, I will say that I don't have to worry about pistol or shotgun. All that's out because I don't load any of that stuff. I only load bottleneck rifle, and I do some straight wall. I like 350 Legend, even though I don't think that's technically, I think the case is slightly tapered, but whatever. So you kind of get an idea. I'm only loading for bolt action rifles, essentially. So I would say, ooh, boy, that is a tough one. Top 3 powders, man. Top 3 powders. So if I see them on the shelf, I have to buy them, kind of situation. I would say probably H4350 would be one, right? And that would be my Creedmoor powder, because I'm a big fan of the 6.5 Creedmoor, right? Big fan of it. You know, hunting whitetail deer here in Alabama, I think it's just about the perfect cartridge. So that powder is definitely on the list. And then, you know, I mean, maybe something like Varget, right? Because you could load 223, 308. Because with like H4350, you could load, you know, 243. Ugh, that's a tough one. What 3 powders? I'd be interested to hear. Yeah, what are y'all's? H4350 is definitely in the top 3, 100%. I don't know about Varget though. I've had really good luck with Hodgdon Benchmark. So if I'm trying to like bracket it in a way where it's like, okay, I want to be able to take care of like a 223, you know, and then maybe a 6.5, and then maybe step up to like a Magnum type stuff, maybe like N560, maybe Rotumbo, you know, something along those lines, maybe N560. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a really good 18 wheels. Sorry to bail on y'all. I just got home from long. Oh yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you joining every time. You know, you're one of those guys. You jump into the live stream just about every time I have one. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, and you enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good weekend, brother. Yep. Go have dinner with them. Enjoy the evening, man. Let's see. Jeff says tack for me in 223, not 308. Have loaded for 6.5 Grendel with tack. Yeah, that's another good Grendel powder. Is tack, ramshot tack. Hudge said Varget, H4831 shortcut, H4350 or IMR 4350. All really good choices. Yep. But good luck with IMR 4350 and H4350. Seems like those prices are just outrageous at this point. Rich's Adventure. What's going on, Rich? H4350, H4895, Vitivori N550. All good choices again. So yeah, that's a tough one, because I mean, really it'll come down to what you're loading for, right? I mean, what, you know, I'm mostly focused on 6.5 Creedmoor, 270 Winchester, 30 TC, you know, that type of stuff. That's really kind of where I'm focusing in on. Some 223 stuff, but like I said, Benchmark, I've had really good luck with using Benchmark in 223. Hodgdon Benchmark, it shoots really well. So yeah, probably yeah. I mean, for what I load right now, like Superformance, Hodgdon Superformance is a powder that I saw it on the shelf when I was in Ohio, whatever, last month, and 2 months ago. Was it March when I was in Ohio, or April? I've lost track now, but I saw it on the shelf, an 8-pound jug, and it was like $275 for an 8-pound jug, and I jumped on it. I bought that because that was like the best price I've seen on an 8-pound jug of that stuff. So, and that is a really, really good powder in 270 Winchester, which is why I got it. Jeff said top powder is for the cows you have. For me, Hybrid 100V, IMR 7828. I'm thinking that's super shortcut, SSC. H1000 for the rifles, got it. Yeah, H1000 is a really good powder too. The Broke Hobby Smith. Win 231 is your bread and butter, but I'm only reloading. I got you. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I don't load any pistol. It's so funny. I started off when I first got into reloading. I had a little Lee single stage press, and I started off loading 223 and 9mm, and I loaded up 100 rounds of 9mm on that single stage press using CFE pistol. And I went to the range, had a Glock, maybe a Glock 17 at the time, and I burned through those 100 rounds within a matter of minutes. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm done hand loading for pistol cartridges, because it took me a minute to load up 100 rounds of those, right? To get the powder, to dump the powder charges, because I was using the Lee powder measure, right? So I was dumping the charges, had to get it set up first and get it dumping, you know, a charge consistently. And then once I did that, I had to do that for 100 rounds, get the bullets seated, all that stuff. I had to prime the brass, the whole nine. And then, yeah, I shot that stuff so quick, I was like, I'm gonna stick to rifle. And I've done that ever since. I haven't loaded any more, not that I haven't loaded any more pistol. I've loaded like 357 Magnum, 44 mag, but all that stuff were for rifles. Like none of that was for actual pistol, I don't think. No, I did load the 44 mag. No, I never loaded 44 mag. That's right. I had one for just a brief moment in time. Had a wheel gun, but I ended up getting rid of it. At 357, that was for a Ruger 77 357. That was a sweet little handy bolt action, by the way. 38 special is about $30 for factory. I can reload for about 10. The time it takes to reload makes me take my time shooting. Oh yeah, no kidding. Well, and that's the thing too. Stuff, and that's what I tell people. Like guys at work, they'll ask me, "Hey, is it worth it? Right? Do I need to get into reloading? Well, what are you trying to load for?" Oh, well, I shoot. You know, I want to shoot 357 Magnum. Then yes, you need to get into reloading, because good luck going and buying factory ammunition and being able to shoot a lot. But you're not gonna be able to do it. I mean, that stuff just costs way too much. So. But yeah, depending on what you're loading for, you know, somebody asked that question earlier. Is kind of, I think that's basically where they're going with it. Is it worth it getting into reloading? It definitely is, depending on what you know, what your desired outcome is, and depends on how much you shoot. If you're a guy where you have a 270 Winchester and you shoot it once or twice before hunting season to make sure it's still zeroed from the previous hunting season, and then you might shoot a couple of whitetails in a season, and then you clean it up and put it back in the safe, and that's really all you do, it's probably not worth it, actually. But if you're somebody like myself and you just enjoy the process of trying different bullet powder combinations, seeing what shoots well in your gun, what doesn't shoot well, kind of going down that rabbit hole, yeah, you'll enjoy it. It's a fun hobby. It can be a frustrating hobby at times. It's a lot of fun. And I think now is like a really good time to at least be looking into the hobby of reloading, mostly because there's so much good information out on YouTube now. It's just like you've got these competitors like Eric Cortina, right? And you've got like the Hornady guys. So you've got Eric Cortina and Speedy and all these other guys, and F-Class John, and you know, all those guys that are putting out so much good information that was not being put out, you know, back just a handful of years ago. And then you've got like the Hornady podcast, where they're putting out like from their perspective on, you know, they're producing mass quantities of ammunition, right? But still putting out a ton of really good information. So there's just a lot of really good stuff that's out there that you can learn, that can kind of put you ahead of the game, so to speak, right? Give you a lot of really good information up front. You can go watch Little Crow Gunworks. Their YouTube channel is awesome. Absolutely awesome. They've only got like 2,500 subscribers, but they are a custom rifle manufacturer. They also make reloading stuff, equipment, but they put out some really good content. So highly recommend them. Any thoughts on PSA's AAC brass? I don't pick it up at the range, but It doesn't mean it's bad. See a lot of people shoot it. A lot of that stuff is at the range when I go. Rich's Adventure. I'm a Benchrest shooter with, okay, 6.5 by 47 Lapua and 6 by 47 and some ELR matches, so it's worth it to me. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, you're not gonna go shoot Benchrest or ELR with factory ammunition. I don't care what I don't care what Hornady says or what any other ammunition manufacturer says. You're not gonna go grab a box of their factory stuff and go out there and be competitive. Not in that, you're not. Jeff, full power loads, 357 44 mag, green dot, blue dot, Winchester 296. Yeah, I was shooting Winchester 296, I believe, and H110, which those are, I think, essentially the same powder. But I believe I had more 296 on hand, so that's why I went with that. I think I've got 3 pounds of 296 right now, and nothing to shoot it in, so it's just sitting in the powder stockpile, collecting dust. But yeah, IMR 4350. That's a really good. Was it 30-06 powder? But like I said, the price increase on that stuff is just really, I don't know. It's kind of turned me off to a lot of the powder. If they've shot up in price, I'm just like, you know what? I'll find something else, or I just won't worry about loading that particular cartridge for a little while. Reloading Quest. My favorite powder now is Shooter's World, Precision Rifle, and IMR 4064. Yeah, Shooter's World has some really good stuff. So, and you used to be able to get that stuff cheap. You could get it at Mid-South Shooter Supply. Like, they almost gave that stuff away, right? It was like, man, you get free hazmat on that stuff all the time. You know, it'd be like hazmat. If you buy Shooter's World powder, hazmat's a penny, or shipping's a penny, or like they used to run promos all the time on that stuff. You could get it for anywhere from like 23 to 27 bucks a pound. You could just stack the stuff up if you wanted to. Then of course now you can't. So, but it's pretty good stuff. H110 and Winchester 296 are the same. Yep, thought so. I need a Dillon. Yeah, I need a Dillon 750. I hear you. Need a pay raise. That's what I need. But yeah, you can load some good stuff on a Dillon. I mean, that's what, like I was mentioning, those competition guys like Eric Cortina and F-Class John, those guys, I mean, they load their F-Class, 1,000-yard comp ammo. That's what they load. They load it on a Dillon now. So you can definitely make really, really good stuff on a progressive. I'm still rocking the Mech Marksman. Yeah. And that's probably what I'll use for a long time. I'm a big fan of Redding presses as well. The T7 turret's a good press. The Redding Big Boss 2 is one of my favorite single stage presses. What's going on? Jada, opinion on 257 Weatherby. Oh, if you want an opinion on a Weatherby cartridge, go watch Reloading Weatherby. You probably picked up just by the name of the channel. He's a really big fan of Weatherby cartridges, and I believe he loads for 257 Weatherby. So you'll have to go check out all of that. That is that's a pretty stout cartridge in that quarter bore diameter. So yeah, I've never owned one. The only 257 diameter reloading I've ever done was for a 250 3000 Savage. I think the 25 cals are underappreciated. I think it's a really good diameter for, you know, like whitetail and stuff. So, you know, 257 Weatherby, that's probably a lightning bolt. Rich said, when I buy powder, I buy it 8 pounds. Yeah, exactly. The price increase is just crazy. And that was me. Like I'd already told myself, hey, I'm not going to buy pound powder containers anymore unless it's a pretty good deal, right? Like I did pick up some 1 pound containers of Winchester 760 and hybrid 100V because they were like $37 a pound when everything else on the shelf was like 60, 70 bucks a pound. So I did pick up some of that, but I saw that Superformance, and it's a powder that I like, it's a powder I use in 270 Winchester, it's a powder I'm going to use in 280 Remington Ackley. So went ahead and bought an 8 pound jug of it. So yeah, I don't really have much to offer up on that 257 Weatherby question though, or comment. Reloading Quest 257 Weatherby, great for medium game. The broke Hobbysmith. I don't recommend lead progressive presses, very fiddly. I believe it. Jeff Wilson. Yeah, exactly. That's Jeff said yes, and they set the press up for the load and leave it alone. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they do testing. Like if you listen to Eric Cortini, you watch some of his stuff. Yeah, he does mention like he does some testing, but it's not necessarily to the level like, hey, I don't necessarily think it's to the level like what I'm doing, right? Where I'm constantly testing different brass powder bullet combinations and all this other stuff. I mean, they generally have it dialed in at this point where they've gone through the very extensive testing. Now it's really, they've got everything so fine-tuned and dialed in, and they're shooting the same cartridge. They're buying 10 barrels at a time, and they're chambered for the exact same cartridge from the exact same gunsmith, or if they chamber them themselves or however they do it. You know what I'm saying? Where everything is so dialed in and refined, where now it's just very minimal tweaks here and there that they're doing, right? Let's see what else. But yeah, they set it up and leave it alone. 25-06 Ackley, that'd probably be a pretty good cartridge. I have, you're right. So I have loaded for 25-06, the project I'm doing now. So that's actually the second 257 diameter bullet project that I've run. I do like the 25-06. That's a pretty good cartridge. Rich, I'm from Ohio. Hey, I was up in Ohio not too long ago, and I ran into a subscriber by the name of Derek McMurray, who's a great guy, by the way. Ran into him at Vance Outdoors. That's where I picked up that Hodgson Superformance powder. And I picked up 500 of the Spear 120 grain gold dots there. They had them on the shelf they were like $19 for a box of 50. Couldn't pass that up because I hadn't seen the 120s on the shelf in forever. I've got some 140s, and I really like the 140s, but for the 120s, I like those for the Grendel. I'm also going to try them in the Creedmoor, but that's a really, really good bullet. So yeah, so I was up in your neck of the woods back last month, probably. Was up there for a wedding, actually. Tried Skyline chili for the first time. It's not bad. Needs beans, but whatever. Kelby's built my Benchrest rifles. Yeah, the Kelby guy, he just passed away not too long ago. Like, what, a few weeks back or whatever it was. Do you cast bullets? No, I do not. But if you're interested in that, you need to go watch CW Longshot on YouTube. Go check out his channel because he does bullet casting and he does it a lot. He's like a bullet casting encyclopedia. So if you want to learn, or go check out so actually a little bit later in like 44 minutes, the Georgia Shooting Connection, that's the name of it. So Georgia, the state, Shooting Connection, they'll be going live. It's basically just like a panel and it's a live stream with a handful of guys on the panel, and a lot of those guys cast their own bullets. So if you're interested in that, that's something you want to learn about, highly recommend checking out that live stream. It's every Friday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then whatever, adjust your time zone from there. I don't know where you're at in the country or on the globe, but you can adjust from there. That's a really good live stream to join though, and I should be on that panel coming up May 31st, I believe. They've invited me a handful of times. Friday nights typically are at that time. That's never a good time for me. 7 p.m. It's just never really a good time for me. But coming up on May 31st, I will have the time and the ability to join that. So should be joining their panel that Friday evening. But yeah, to Rich, to your point, that's kind of my thought process now about buying powder. If I come across it and it's a good deal, it's a powder I know I'm going to use. I've had success with in the past. That's kind of the thing too. There's a lot of powder sitting on the shelves that maybe in the past I would have jumped on just to test it out and try it, but I haven't done that. Like I've kind of cut back on just buying powder just to buy it. Now I'm kind of sticking to, hey, I know this stuff works. I've had success with it, so I'm going to buy more of it, right? Jeff, unless you have a fast twist 25-06, I'll beat it with a fast twist 243 with a 105 to 115 grain long range. Yeah, and that's the thing with the 25-06. That's not really, I don't think those were, just like the 243, it traditionally was not a fast twist. Or what, kind of what a lot of people are gravitating towards nowadays. Hey, I want a faster twist rifle for XYZ cartridge so I can shoot these long for caliber, high BC bullets. So I don't even know what the standard twist is for 25-06. Was it like a 1 in 10 or something? Oh man, yeah, we probably got maybe about 5-10 more minutes on this live stream before we close it out. I've already been streaming for 108 minutes. Wow. Plus my phone's dying, so kind of need to get it plugged in, charged back up. But hopefully y'all can get out to the range and get a little shooting done. 25-06 was 1 in 10. Oh, okay, yep. That makes sense. That's a standard. But then also, what's interesting too, CW Longshot, speaking of him, he has a 7 rim mag that is, I believe it's a Inner Arms brand, and his is like a 1 in 10 and a quarter twist on the 7 rim mag. When I think if you go back and look, a lot of them are like what, 1 in 9.5 or something like that. So he was having, just talking about twist rates, that made me think of that. He was having issues stabilizing some of the, I believe it's the Federal Terminal Ascent. You got to meet Brian Litz, and talking to him, I felt like a chimp hearing him talk ballistics. Oh, I bet. Yeah, that dude has probably forgotten more about ballistics than we could ever learn. I mean, that's what he does, right? Like he eats, sleeps, breathes ballistics. Like that is his main focus. He has switched over to 22 now, so he is switching over to more rimfire stuff. I have seen some of his interviews or just videos talking about that. That seems pretty. It seems like that's another. It seems like that's a new rabbit hole for him to kind of go down, is rimfire and how it differs from like the more traditional stuff that we think about, bottleneck rifle and that type of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with, what he finds out. But yeah, that's a if you want to nerd out on stuff, go dive into any of that applied ballistic stuff. Go to their website, start reading some of their papers. Yeah, it's really good stuff. Harvey said, "Don't forget to like." I appreciate that, Harvey. Smash that like button. Yeah, it's always much appreciated. I can assure you. I appreciate the contribution to the chat, more than the go hit the like button. But I appreciate you guys chiming in on different topics. That's what I was talking about earlier. Some of the collective wisdom that is provided in the chat. Pretty good stuff. Learn what bullet powder combinations work for someone or whatever, what equipment someone recommends, why they don't recommend something else. I think it might have been the last live stream we did, or maybe a couple ago, a couple of live streams back. We had people that were really kind of diving into reloading to start with, trying to figure out what equipment to buy. So a lot of people giving good recommendations. The broke hobbysmith, any recommendations for just cheap range bullets? Dude, I'm telling you, go to Rich. I subscribe. I love talking reload. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Probably not going to be able to teach you anything. You're probably not going to learn anything good from me, but you will get to hear a lot of rambling. You'll get to kind of come along with me, see what I'm testing, see the results I'm getting. There are some hunting videos where actually I film through the scope. Those are up on the channel. You can go check those out. So yeah, just kick back, relax, and enjoy the content. But broke hobbysmith, you've got to go to AmericanReloading.com and check out. They have they sell a lot of pulled bullets and blims, right? So blemish bullets. So go check out that website. That would be my number one recommendation. And I've bought a lot of stuff from them, especially like pulled bullets and blims and stuff, for that particular reason. Just cheap range bullets. If I'm wanting to like just go do maybe some fire forming on some brass, or just some barrel break in, get a new gun, or whatever, right? And I need a bullet to throw in there just to go shoot, then that's why I have that American Reloading stuff, is for that purpose, right? So I recommend those. Go check those guys out. If you can buy like factory seconds off Midway, factory second bullets, blemish bullets, pulled bullets, I would go that route if you're looking for just simply a range bullet. Definitely do not go buy brand new stuff and then just be like, oh, I just want to go plink at the range. Figure out a way to get that stuff cheap, or as cheap as possible. Rich, I've been doing it for about 18 years now. I like to pop in, give advice every now and then, and you'll always learn something. Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I like. Again, that's one of the things I really like about the community itself. The reloading community, it just on YouTube, I don't know, to me it seems extremely small, right? Because you'll see a lot of the same guys on multiple channels, multiple live streams, commenting on videos, commenting in live streams, participating in all this stuff. You see a lot of the same guys, which is really cool. And then you get that knowledge share going, which I think is awesome. So yeah, it's just great. Like Reloading Quest, his channel, right? I mean, that dude has probably about 5 million projects going at any given time. He also has a 3D printing business that it's insane the amount of stuff that dude does. But yeah, you can go check out his stuff. Like I was saying, CW Longshot, that's another good one. We were talking about Hopeful Ballistics, Alaskan Ballistics, all these guys, all these channels put out really good stuff. So reloading quest. So I think you will like the 280 Ackley over the 6. Oh yeah, 100%. Once I start, and that's the thing. Once I start playing with that cartridge, and going down that route, not that that's going to be the death of the 6.5 Creedmoor for me, but yeah, I'll be focused a lot on that cartridge once I get it going. Jeff, how are you going to beat the 25-06 case and a 243 case? Alt 6, 115 burger will smoke at 243. Uh-oh, we now have, well, we got a competition going on now. Harvey, how do you beat one case from the other? Jeff, do a shirt. There you go. Oh, but yeah, this is where, like I was saying, about another 5 or 10 minutes, that time has come and gone. So I got to call it a night. Ed, I like my 308. 308's awesome. Love that cartridge. But yeah, don't forget, guys, go check out the Georgia Shooting Connection. Like I was saying, they're about to go live in about 30 minutes. So if you want to go talk more reloading, bullet casting, that type of stuff, check them out. But I appreciate all you guys dropping in on the live stream, and y'all stay tuned for more content, live streams, all that fun stuff. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your evening. Hope you have an awesome weekend, and we will catch y'all on the next one. So y'all have a good one. Gerald, love the 280. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to love it too. So I appreciate all you guys. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch y'all.